Hi, my name is Ken Albert. I'm President and CEO for Androscoggin Home Healthcare and Hospice, and I welcome you to our memorial service. I've welcomed many families and friends over the years to services like this, but never in such odd times as we find ourselves with COVID-19. Death is different, grieving is different, how we put our loved ones to rest is different. Not being able to be at the bedside, perhaps. So today we come together in community, those of us who have lost loved ones, and those of us who are going through the death and dying process with somebody that we love. I hope today that you're able to find community in celebrating the lives of those who have gone before us, and knowing that together we will find our way forward as we learn to grieve differently, but still passionately for those we love. Please enjoy this service.
We gather this evening to remember and to honor the lives of people dear to you who have died. They were your wives and husbands and partners, your mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers, sons and daughters, grandparents, other family members, loved ones, friends. They were part of your lives and shaped who you are in ways unique and precious to each one of you. We are honoring loved ones who have died between March 1st and August 31st. And so for many of you, your journey of healing through grief is in its early months. For others, the grief you may be feeling has been with you for some time. So while each of you holds slightly different emotions today, it is true as well that we all are forever joined in this human dance of life and death, and that we all are moving to similar patterns of memory and grief. Many of you traveled a sacred journey with the person you honor today, giving them extraordinary gifts of care and comfort at the end of their lives. As hospice caregivers, we were privileged to witness that loving care and travel parts of the journey with you. And so today we are blessed, truly blessed, to remember and to honor them as well. We will do so through the reading aloud of names, by sharing together the healing power of music, and by offering words of reflection and prayer. Today, as always, we are embraced by a source of hope and meaning that is greater than ourselves, which holds us in our sorrows as well as in our joys. For many of you, that wellspring is God. For others, you may know it as nature, or the mysterious thread that binds us one to another and to this whole universe, or as the deep wisdom at the center of your being. However we name that river of grace that moves in and through all of life, it embraces us here today. In this spirit, we bid you welcome. We are very glad that you are here. Ancient peoples recognized that words can be powerful, and some of the most powerful of all words are names. To say someone's name was to call up the very essence of that person. That essence remains even after they are gone. This evening, let yourself feel the power, the very essence of the people whose names we read, the people we are here to honor and remember. During these unprecedented times, we would be remiss not to also acknowledge the collective losses of our nation and the world. Before we begin the reading of names, we would like to acknowledge that many of those we cared for were veterans who proudly served our country. In honor of those lives, Todd McKenna will read the poem Flanders Field, by Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae. Todd is a valued employee and volunteer of this agency, and he is a veteran. You may recognize Todd if he performed a pinning ceremony for your loved one.
Hello, my name is Todd McKenna. I'm one of the veteran volunteers here at Androscoggin Home Health Care and Hospice. I'd like to take a moment to read to you a short story about Lieutenant Colonel John McKay. John McKay, a noted Canadian physician before the Great War, served in Canada's 1st Brigade Artillery as a surgeon. As he worked in sight of the poppy fields blooming across the battlefields and fresh graves, he crafted a moving testimony. The fields where the cemeteries lay was thick with scarlet poppies, their dormant seeds churned up by the guns, blooming despite or because of the carnage. Lieutenant Colonel McCrae took the scene and quickly wrote a 15-line poem speaking from the dead to the living in Flanders Field. It was to become the most infamous poem of the Great War, perhaps any war. In Flanders Field, the poppies blow, between the crosses row and row, that mark the place, and in the sky, the larks still bravely sing, fly, scarce a herd amid the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago. We live, fell down, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Field. Take up our quarrel with our foe. To you from fallen hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high. If ye break, faith will us who die. We shall not sleep through poppies grow in Flanders Field. To all of the veterans that we've served here at Androscoggin Home Health Care and Hospice, I would like to thank you for your service.
Our time of remembrance will now begin.
Beverly Adams, Gregory Adams, Beverly Anderson, Irene Anderson, Michael Andres, Benjamin Andrews, Clorinda Andrews, Ruth Andrews, Carolyn Andrus, Mary Antonelli, Evelyn Arbor, Francis Arsenault, Amy Ashton, Emily Atwood, Norman Obie, Richard Odette, Ruth Alt, George Austin, Ati Autio, Cody Bean, Emery Belageron, Nancy Baker, Willis Baker, Audrey Banks, Benjamin Barr, Barbara Bales, John Bodine, Richard Bodine, Methel Belanger, Amanda Bell, Alice Bennett, John Bennett, Pauline Bergeron, Harry Bernard, Victor Bernier, Theola Bitford, Leo Bennett, Kenneth Burden, Joseph Byron, Yolande Bissonnette, Gary Blaze, Priscilla Blaze, Rena Blanchett, Gerald Blodgett, Adelaide Ballard, Harold Bosselman, Alfred Boucher, Roger Bollet, Roberta Barassa,
Nancy Borgia,
Juliette Bourget, Joseph Bourgogne, Catherine Booton,
Patty Buteau,
Judy Bowden, Mark Bradbury, Linwood Bradford, Harold Bragdon,
Alberta Brett, Kenneth Bridgett, Stephen Broadbent, Janet Brooks, Barbara Brown, Beverly Brown, Dorothea Brown, Stephen Brown, Christopher Bruns, Robert Bryant, Stanley Boubier, Dorothy Buchanan, Miriam Buchanan, Normand Barrow, Darren Burgess, Gerald Burgess, Gloria Burgess, James Burgess, Shoko Burho,
Rena Burke,
Percy Butler, Mary Bazell, Geraldine Call, James Callahan, John Colloway, Maureen Campbell, Loretta Campbell, Alexia Karen, Donald Karen, Ella Karen, Marguerite Karen, Priscilla Carrier, George Carter, Alice Carver, Constant Cassidy, Patricia Kastner, Paul Kerr, Clayton Chenery,
Susan Chesley,
Claudette Chick, Virginia Chickering,
Norman Chacoin,
Anita Child, David Clark, Carol Clement, Hubert Clements, John Clifford, Ernest Cloutier Sr., Lawrence Cloutier, Pauline Cloutier, Peter Coburn, Hiram Cochran, Henry Cochran, Joan Cole, Florice Collins, Elizabeth Conant, Freeman Condon, Paul Coulon.
Daniel Coombs, Pauline Coombs, Peter Cornelio, Carol Cowperthwaite, Charles Crago, Wallace Cray, Shirley Crocker, Arthur Krause, Arthur Cummings, Therese Sear, Leland Damon, Arthur Damone, Jacqueline Davis, Tammy Davis, Janet Day, Sally D. James DeShane, Claire DeCoto, Stephen Dexter, Michael Dickinson, Kevin Dillingham, Richard Dingwell Jr., Stacy Dinwiddie, David Doloff, June Doucette, Wallace Doucette, Merle Douglas, Albert Downs, Donald Doyon, Alfred Drapo, Ellen Drews, Louise Driscoll, David Driscoll, Lucille Doobie, Paul Doobie, Paul Dubois, Richard Dumay, Dennis Durgan, Joan Durrell, Lawrence Duval, Eleanor Eckhart, Avis Edwards, Robert Edwards, Marjorie Elsowitz, Emile Eli, Charles Ellis Jr., Merrill Emery, Linda Engelhardt, Robert Eustace, Brian Fallis, Agnes Farnsworth, Diane Farrand, Janice Farron, Janice Farrington, Lawrence Farris, Ludlow Fillmore, Cheryl Fitch, Robert Fitzmaurice.
Paul Flood, Shirley Flynn, Richard Fogg, Teresa Forbes, Billy Joe Fortier, Dorothy Fortier, Kenneth Fowler, Mary Fowler, Russell Fox, Laurel Gagne, Roger Gagne, Raymond Gagnon, Rodney Gagnon, Robert Gallipo, Gerard Gallant, Craig Galouche, Robert Garmez, Clifford Gammon, Therese Garant, Dor Garneau, Peter Gartner, Irene Gauthier, Kevin Giel, Sylvain Gendron, Audrey Gensel, Nancy Garrity, Edwin Jerry, Alta Guyson, Donna Gibbs, Lillian Gibbs, Kathleen Gygas, Henry Gilbert, Kimberly Gilbert, Ruth Gill, Albert Gerard, Sandra Gleichman, George Gould, Ralph Gould, Teresa Goupil, Rudolph Gove, Stephen Gray, Marguerite Gray, Melva Gray, Lawrence Greenleaf, James Greenow, Merlene Greenwood, Florence Grimm, Lloyd Grover, David Gay, Richard Garrett, David Gunning, Thomas Gurney, Louis Guston, Esther Geiger, Mark Haggerty, Robert Hall, Lorraine Hammond, Roland Hamill.
Stephen Hanley, Fern Hannon, Kevin Hansen, Joanne Harriman, Carey Harris, Maxine Hartwell, William Hathaway, Doris Herrick, Sylvia Herrick, Marion Herring, Carleen Hewitt, Mary Hicks, Lelia Hill, Ruth Hill, Charles Hines, Marguerite Hodgkins, Rose Hollis, Jean Hood, Albert Hopkins, Emerald Houghton, Mary Houghton, Betty Hoole, Dorothy Howe, Dorothy Huber, Sylvia Hutchins, Frederick Hutchinson, Janet Highland, Bryson Irish, Rita Janelle, Marie Jenkins, Marvin Jewett, George Johnson, John Johnson, Robert Jones, Eileen Jordan, Marion Jordan, Richard Jordan, Thelma Judkins, Cecile Jutras, Shirley Kane, Diane Kozlaukas, Mary Keane, Stanley Kierstead, Esther Kelly, Walter Kelman, Mary Kenfield, Christopher Kenny, Betty Jean Kepner, Marilyn Kilgore, Jean Clairbois, Beverly Knight, Norma Knox, Patricia Kurtger, Mary Costro, Donna Lalonde, Lawrence Lambert, Claude Lancaster, E. Landis.
Merle Lang, Mark Lanzeri, Dale LaPointe, Gloria LaRoche, Francis Larrabee, Phyllis LaSalle, Eugene Laughlin, Suzanne Loretano, Lawrence LaValle, George Lavoie, Deborah Levitt, Paul LaBelle, Euclide LeBlanc, G. Teresa LeBlanc, Pauline LeBlanc, Robert LeBlanc, Doreen Lebrun, Jacqueline LeClaire, Anita LeClaire Davis, Roland Lecomte, Douglas Ledoux, Annette Lee, Dorothy Lefebvre, Norman Legier, Cecile Lecoux, Sandra Levesque, Esther Lyria, William Lewis, Joan Libby, June Libby, Nancy Libby, Virginia Lindbergh, Reginald Littlefield, Linfred Locke, John Locke, Roland Mayotte, Scott Maylett, Marcy Main, Sherry Market, Violet Marquis, Michael Marquis, Patricia Marshall Paris, Paul Martin, Suzanne Martin, George May, Florence Mayberry, Edward McClure, Wendell McColler, Sean McGrath, Donald McKay, Virginia McLaughlin,
James McLean, Everett McNelly, Daniel McPherson, William Meader, Philip Meldrum, Tina Menegas, Harris Merrill, Sandra Miller, Mary Miller, Barbara Millett, Ann Minster, Norma Monserlich, Robert Monture, Anthony Moore, Louise Moore, Robert Morey, Russell Morey, Florence Morgan, Emily Morgan, Althea Morse, Lorna Mowat, Michael Murphy, Elsie Murphy, Mirjam Neal Wood, Stanley Newell, Elizabeth Nichols, Dorothy Norton, Floyd Norton, Jack Norton, Pauline Noyes, Hermenegelda Nitan-Garanwa, Theda Nyberg, Paul O'Clair, Carl O'Donnell, Frederick Omacht, Stephen Olis, Catherine Oliver, Edwin Packard, Alan Page, James Palmer, Yvonne Paquette, Arthur Parody, Pauline Pear, Daniel Parent, Dorothy Peake, Alton Pelkey, Patrick Pelletier, Roland Pelletier, Betty Pennington, Arthur Perkins, William Perkins, Normand Perron, William Perry, Shirley Petrie, Joseph Philippon, Carol Finney, Althea Pike, Angela Pinkham,
Dennis Poisson, Robert Poliquin, Kenneth Pohl, Roland Pomelo, Everly Popolowski, Donna Poole, Florence Porter, Jaden Poulin, Monique Poulin, Gerald Poisal, Morris Powell, Brenda Pratt, Muriel Pratt, Charles Price, Jeannie Proctonwich, Edna Proctor, Mary Provenci, Louis Provo, Mary Pugsley, Toby Purington, Lisa Radcliffe, Barbara Richard, Linda Richards, Mary Richards, Elizabeth Richards, Jean Ritchie, Linda Rue, Leslie Robbins, Ernestine Roberts, Evelyn Roberts, Frederick Robinson, Edna Rogers, Jeffrey Rohan, Harold Roos, Hugh Rose, Paul Rue, Joseph Roy, Margaret Roy, Regis Roy, Daniel Ruiz, Elma Runyon, William Rupert, Richard Russell, Irene Ryan, Nira Ryder, Arthur Sampson, Marjorie Sanborn, Ernest Sanborn, Catherine Sanderson, Clennis Savage, Michael Savage, Malcolm Sawyer, Ronald Skaman, Harriet Schneider, Patricia Schultz, Virginia Scott, Linda Scott, Lorena Sedgley,
Robert Semple, Donald Savigny, William Shane, Russell Sherburne, Juliet Simard, Barbara Simone, Lisa Simonton, Jerry Simpson, Geraldine Sizeland, Carol Sleeper, Henry Small, Diana Smallman, Barbara Smiley, Ann Smith, Carolyn Smith, Eugene Smith, Faye Smith, Jean Smith, John Smith, Mildred Smith, Teresa Smith, Susan Smith Sampson, Linda Sornberger, Merwin Spalding, Donald Spiller, Patricia Sprague, Nicholas Spring, Ellen Sproul, Charles Sinclair, Dorothy St. Hilaire, Edmund Saint Michel, Cecil St. Pierre, Donald St. Pierre, Raymond St. Hilaire, Janice St. Michel, Robert St. Hours, Erla St. Pierre, Diana St. Pierre, Norman Stanford, Tony Starbird, Jane Stevens, Sandra Stevens, Jean Marie Stevenson, Marcia Storkerson, Galen Strout, Margaret Strout, Mary Strout, Martha Strunk, Barbara Swanson, Judith Swanson, Grant Tapley, Norman Tardif, Brenda Taylor, Rodney Taylor, Alicia Tenney, Christine Terrell, Albertine Terrio, Doris
Mary Terrio, Dennis Terrio, Marguerite Thibault, Dennis Thibodeau, Debbie Thomas, David Thompson, Lillian Tikander, Philip Tilton, Roger Torres, Joseph Tracy, Florence Tracy, Roberta Tremblay, Gordon Tripp, Armand Truchon, Janet Trufant, Robert Turcott, Kathleen Turgeon, Ronald Turner, Daniel Valcourt, George Varney, John Van Carr, Randy Bellew, Leanne Venoit, Betty Verrill, Constance Volterman, Mildred Waldy, Jean Walker, John Walsh, David Walton, Joanne Warren, Donna Weber, Kathy Wells, Edward Wentworth, G. Robert Wentworth, June Wheeler, Mary White, George White, Raymond Whitehouse, Maynard Whitten, Charles Wilcox, Joan Willett, Gerard Williams, Sherelle Wilmot, Doris Wilson, Lillian Wiltsey, Nathan Wing, Marion Wynn, Alfred Winslow, Pamela Wiswell, Thomas Wojcik, Judith Wood, Richard Woodward, Jeanette Young, James Young.
If ancient peoples celebrated the power of words through naming names and telling stories, they even more so recognized the power and mystery of silence, the ground out of which all words arise. Now, for a moment, let us be present with one another in the deep embrace of silence.
No, you want me to be happy. Live my life the best I can. You said you'd wait around the bend until we share this space again. Sorrow is an owl calling, like it called the night you died. Lost my balance, I was falling, unprepared to say goodbye. Though I know we all must face this, and that living still goes on, I long for one more chorus as I cherish your last song. And I'm calling out to you, and I'm calling out to you. I hope my words will make it through. Out there, somewhere, way beyond the blue, way beyond the blue. Wisdom has a way of painting the signs and symbols I should know, buried in those songs and letters is the message, let it go. Oh, let the sunlight of each daytime brighten up the darkest night. Let the memories of your lifetime here clear the dimming of your sight. And I'm calling out to you, and I'm calling out to you. I hope my words will make it through. Out there, somewhere, way beyond the blue, way beyond the blue. Today I thought I heard your laughter, sharply strike this heavy heart. It brought me to my knees, sending warmth to my deep freeze. Time is like an ancient healer, it's precious hours we have to live. I know you'll wait around the bend and hope I'll be with you again. way beyond the blue, way beyond the
Hello, I'm Elizabeth Hart, the Hospice Medical Director and Director of Medical Services for Androscoggin Home Health Care and Hospice. We remember and celebrate with you the lives of those who have recently passed. They were members of your families or your beloved friends. We met them as patients who we cared for through Androscoggin. We are honored and grateful to have been invited into their lives and into your lives. By the nature of our roles, we enter people's lives in moments of incredible vulnerability and sadness. We accompany our patients and families through some of life's most tender and intimate moments. We recognize that it is a privilege and a gift that we are granted this intimacy by our patients and their families. This is an honor that we do not take lightly. We journey with patients and families through the ends of their lives and with you in your grief when they pass. In remembering your loved ones today, I offer these thoughts on behalf of Androscoggin, reflections that we hope may offer you some solace. Relationships do not end when people die. They change to relationships with memories and shared stories. Memories of lives well lived, together and sometimes apart. In these times when contact with those whom we love is often limited, and grief so deeply affected by distance, it is more important than ever to remind ourselves that there are a multitude of ways of being present, and only one of them is physical. St. John Chrysostom captured this so well in just a few brief words. He wrote, "Those whom we love and lose are no longer where they were before. They are now everywhere that we are." His words remind me when grief wells up that those we have lost are with us always. They have touched our lives in ways that are part of us every day. Often we find that it may be helpful to name for ourselves the ways that they are with us, to share a story, to cultivate a shared memory, to ask ourselves, what would they want us to remember most about them? What of them do we carry with us everywhere we go? What is their legacy? The gift that they leave us. We may find that we reconnect with our loved ones in our hearts and memories best by sharing stories. Or as my wise mother once said when she invited us at my dad's memorial service, let's tell stories about Don, the person, not Don, the patient. This invitation encourages us to create moments of joy in our collective memories. Maybe memories from childhood, if this is a loved one that you have known that long. Or maybe from how you met, if this is a cherished friend or your life partner. Or of a favorite family story or holiday tradition or remembrance. The moments of joy that help us to see our loved ones once again in the fullness of their lives. Moments that may have been harder to remember when so much may have become blurred by a focus on illness toward the ends of their lives. Let's pause for a moment now and hold a memory in that deep space of the heart that brings those we have loved and lost back to us, a beloved presence in our lives. As we grieve, it is so important that we give ourselves the emotional and physical space to grieve, each in our own way, to be patient with ourselves and with our grief in the varied ways that it may present itself. Grief has its own, at times unpredictable rhythms. It may ebb and flow unexpectedly, sometimes at moments that unsettle us, when it may be so unwelcome. In allowing ourselves these moments, we begin to heal and transform grief into growth. Each of us experiences grief that is uniquely our own, while grief and loss are universally shared. The poet Mary Oliver offered us a brief poem, The Uses of Sorrow, that speaks to that which grief and love and memory may offer us all. The Uses of Sorrow. In my sleep, I dreamed this poem. Someone I love once gave me a box full of darkness. It took me years to understand that this too was a gift.
Let us join together in a closing prayer. We give thanks for the lives we have remembered and honored here this evening. We give thanks for the mystery that sustains us in life and embraces us in death. Humbly we stood in the face of death. Confidently we stand now in life. Our strength is the strength of many. Indeed, it is the strength of all humanity throughout all of time, because we share one fate and a great compassion. May understanding go with us, and peace too, that we may live together in charity, compassion, and joy, this day and always.